Okay, well, listen, I just want to take a minute and once again thank everybody who was there last night. And I do hope that the rest of you get the opportunity to check it out. It was a great opportunity. I tell you, it was overwhelming. It really was, just to be there and to experience that. So, with a lot of gratitude and a lot of prayers and a lot of love, I'm grateful. I really am. So, thanks, guys. I want to begin tonight because we're continuing the series on shame. And last week we talked about the different faces of shame. Tonight we're going to talk about a process called shame reduction. And so to begin that, I picked a reading from Each Day in New Beginning, which is the woman's meditation book in recovery. It's one of my favorite books. And I took the reading from March 20th. For too many of us, feelings of shame, even self-hatred, are paramount. No one of us has a fully untarnished past. Every man, every woman, even every child experiences regret over some action. We are not perfect. Perfection is not expected in the divine plan. We are expected to take our experiences and grow from them, to move beyond the shame of them, to celebrate what they have taught us. Each day offers us a fresh start at assimilating all that we have been. What has gone before enriches who we are now. And through the many experiences we've survived, we have been prepared to help others, to smooth the way for another person, perhaps who was searching for a new direction. To let go of our shame and know instead that it sweetens the nuggets of the wisdom we can offer to others. We are alike, we are not without faults. Our trials help another to smooth sailing. I will relish the joy at hand. I can share my wisdom. All painful parts all painful parts brighten someone's future when openly shared. I wanted to bring that out tonight because one of the things I've learned over the years through my own experience, through many things I deal with in the course of my own journey in life, is that one of the things that holds many of us back are shame-based behaviors. Shame has a lot of different names, as we talked about last week. It comes in forms of depression, anxiety, guilt. But fundamentally, shame is something that many of us experience over the course of our journey in life. And many of us have really experienced it right at the moment of our birth. And so now, because I joke about this all the time, being Italian, when I was born, the moment of my birth, my parents pinned on me, they gave me a graduation ceremony. They gave me fear, guilt, and worry that connected with shame. So that kind of gives me the heads up on it. What can I tell you? But the bottom line is real simple. We talk about dealing with shame. How do I handle it? How do I start the process of healing from it? And one of the greatest ways to understand this is to learn that we have to learn a process of dealing with shame. One of the mistakes that many of us make is we try to go right at it and we try to solve everything right away. We have this compulsive behavior where I'm trying to figure everything out, settle it, and make peace with it immediately. It doesn't work that way. Because most of us, when it comes to shame, have aspects of denial because there's an old saying we have in the program. We're as sick as our secrets. Our secrets can destroy us. They can tear us apart. And many of us act them out in different ways. Many of us have a tendency, because we can't deal with the feelings and stuff that are going on inside of us, we have a tendency to shut them down, close them off, bury them, swallow them. And then as a result of that, after a while, many of us have a tendency either to isolate, to hide, to run from life. And as a result, then we can really get lost inside of ourselves. Many of us have a sense of living in a fantasy world or a make-believe world, because I don't want to have to deal with what I really have to deal with. So I literally walk around la la land, making believe that everything's wonderful when it's not. And many of us also get caught up in, dealing with everybody else's problems and not ours. And by the way, that's a lot of fun. I can work on somebody else. I can basically dissect them. And I always told the joke about codependence. When we come into recovery, we mix the steps up. We always do the fourth step first. We take everybody else's inventory, not a problem at all. But see, this process of reducing shame, because I'm going to tell you, this part of us, our head, is the sickest part of our body. And many times when things build up inside of us and we do all this thinking about them and the analyzation of them, they get bigger, they get bigger, and they get bigger. When you hold stuff in, it's like it grows. And we have to learn to deflate the balloon. We do that in a very simple and beautiful way, but it takes time. Let me give an example of this. There's a lady I know in recovery. She's in her 80s right now. She's been in recovery now for a good 20-some years. Beautiful lady. I met her when she was 63 years old. I was a priest at the time. She came to visit me and she said, you know, Father, I've been living with this for a long period of time. I don't know what to do. I've been through 4 marriages. My life has been chaotic, insane, and crazy. And I just keep beating myself up, putting myself down. I've had a couple of nervous breakdowns. She said, I have to tell somebody. So she shared with me that when she was a child, she was severely molested by her stepdad. And she kept that secret inside of her for a lot of years. And that literally took her through all kinds of craziness, all kinds of insanity. She literally destroyed 4 marriages as a result of it. And as a result, basically, she finally shared it. And she said to me, she says, I've been going to alcohol, I've been going to drugs, I've been doing all kinds of stuff to avoid having to deal with this. And when I shared with her, she basically started to tell me, and I thanked her for telling me. And as a result, then she began the process of healing. But to start that process takes a long time because we're scared. See, we have this illusion inside of us. It's the illusion of control and the illusion of fear. So many of us are scared to have to get in touch with our feelings. We're scared because we try to control everything or control life. Every time you try to control life, you lose life. It's really what it comes down to. And that's why it's really important to get out of the world of illusion and get into dealing with the things that are inside of us. We didn't get a chance to do this yet as starting point, but there's a beautiful thing that I have based on my eating disorder recovery program. It's called the concept of the iceberg. And the iceberg literally teaches that deep down inside, we have all this stuff going on inside of us. And on the outside, we can use addiction, we can use behavior, all kinds of things to avoid having to look at it. And I love the iceberg theory because it helped me in my own recovery and my eating disorder to have to look at the real things that were going on inside of me. For 44 years of my life, I lived inside that iceberg. I was frozen. And yet externally, I could perform. Externally, I did well. I could function in the role that I was in, but there was no me. And the bottom line was going through all that. And yes, I probably helped a lot of people, did a lot of good. I'm not saying I didn't. But the concept is, there's somebody I forgot about all the time. I forgot about me. And to have to really meet myself and do work with myself took a lot of time. And I shared this before with you, but I went to my first 12-step meeting in 1969. And as a result, then I was connected with 4 different programs over the course from 1969 to 1986, 87. And literally, things like, Al-Anon, AA, ACOA, CODA, and probably a couple more, who knows. But I never really did any work. I was connected with all these programs, but I was too busy trying to fix everybody and save everybody and run around. And literally, I had come to a point to deal with me. And I told you the story when I had a nervous breakdown. The doctor in the hospital said to me, he said, Father, you're spiritually dead. You have no idea who you are. You have no sense of yourself at all. You know how to function, you know what you're doing, but you really have no real sense of who you are as a person, who you are connected to. I never understood spirituality until I got in touch with that doctor. But again, I wasn't ready. And none of us are going to deal with any of this until we're ready. And that's why, believe it or not, peeling the onion or reducing the shame to a manageable level is the key of what we're talking about tonight. How to be able slowly but surely and gradually be able to open up, share the things that are going on inside of me, share my secrets, and begin the process of opening them up. But that doesn't happen overnight, because most of us have been in denial for a long period of time. And that denial process can go on. So another story, a gentleman I've known, it's a lady, not a gentleman, I'm sorry. But the gentleman, I'm having a tough night tonight. Sorry, Aim. But the bottom line is, there's a lady I met who came to see me, and she's in recovery now. But she got into recovery when she was in her late 60s. Now, this lady told me her story. She had gone through 27 detoxes and rehabs. And today I joke with her. I actually say to her, we're going to check the Guinness Book of Records and see if you qualify. Can you imagine going through 27 detoxes and rehabs? And finally, after all those years, coming into recovery. And I'm grateful, because basically she wasn't ready. See, so many times we have to almost like come into it, because the scariest thing of all is when you actually start this process of peeling the onion, reducing the shame. It's almost like you're scared because we're going through a grieving process. When you've been buried in your secrets for a long period of time, you've built a relationship with them. Now, watching them come to life and watching them is really scary. That's why addicts, when they put down drugs or alcohol, when they put down our eating disorders, whatever we put down, whenever you basically get into recovery, and one of the scariest things for all of us is you start to feel your feelings. Your feelings start to come up. Those feelings are scary. We don't know what to do with them. And if you're isolated and off by yourself, it's not going to work. That's why I've learned something in this whole process. I've learned that you need in your life maybe 2 or 3 very special people. There are people that will listen to you. Because as you start to share, I don't want people to give me advice. I want them just to listen, because I'm scared enough just sharing it without you telling me I should do this, I should do that. No, I got to be able to get stuff out, start the process, start the cleaning out. But I got to do it a little bit at a time, because otherwise you'll overwhelm yourself. And most people either go back into their addictive behavior patterns, or they substitute other behavior patterns. Work, performance, all these things are part of it, because they're all externals. Because we go through so much hurt and pain inside of us, and especially if we have experienced trauma, deep hurt, deep pain, things that have been part of us for a long period of time. When we experience loss, especially the loss of a child, the loss of different situations in our life, that's almost like a scar, a trauma on top of us. We all have scars. I call them battle scars. We've all gone through things in life. But as you start the healing process, you understand something about healing. Did you ever notice when you have an operation or you break something, they take it to the doctors and the doctor says, oh, it's a simple operation, will be done in a couple of hours. You do the operation, and then I wonder why it takes 6 months to heal after the operation. Oh, sheesh. But it only took them 2 hours to do it. But see, the healing process is supposed to be slow and gradual. Good healing, good growth, good sharing is stuff we do a little bit at a time. We can't do too much. We overwhelm ourselves, and then we end up going back instead of going forward. And that's why it's so important to learn this process called shame reduction, to reduce the shame to a manageable level. So then I can begin the healing process and work on it. But I need support to do that, because I'm going to go through these stages. And one of the things the reading talked about tonight, that's why I picked it. We're going to get angry. When I start feeling my feelings, I don't like it. And so I end up getting angry and getting frustrated, because all of a sudden I got to deal with all this stuff going on inside of me, and the iceberg starts to melt. And as it melts, these different things start to come up, and my illusions begin to be taken away from me. And I feel like I'm out of control. And many of us know we don't like that feeling, especially if you're card-carrying codependent. You really don't like that feeling. But the bottom line is, it's almost like I have to allow this to happen so I can go back to the roots, to the foundations, to begin to deal with stuff. But please take your time. Go slow. You know, I've learned over and over again that recovery works the best when it works in small segments. I think too many times we're looking for the magical answer. That's our compulsiveness. We're looking for the quick fix. We're looking for all these things. I remember a lady coming up to visit me one time, you know, when I was at starting point, right after one of my lectures, and she said, "Vince, I think I found the solution." I said, "Go ahead." "Well, I found this program. I can go into this program for 5 days. They're going to dig real deep into me, get all my stuff up, and help me deal with it." I said, "In 5 days?" Okay. I said, "How much does this program cost?" She said, $1,700 for the 5 days. I said, "Can I make a suggestion? Go on a cruise instead. Because something that intense will open up all kinds of stuff. Then you're going to bleed like crazy. What are you going to do with it after the 5 days? Nothing's going to be, you can't solve every situation in your life in 5 days. It's a process we go through in life. And life is this constant process of discovery, of learning, this constant process of new things and new developments in our life. That's how it's supposed to be. It's a process we go through. And we keep learning and discovering something new. I pray every day I'll never be done. Why do you want to be done? It's not so much more an adventure to continue on that journey of just discovering some new things about yourself, new directions. Find one more little thing, begin to open up, begin to keep that. It takes time. I use an analogy to bring this out. It's my favorite analogy. And, you know, because I like to use physical, emotional, and spiritual analogies to bring these out. My favorite physical analogy is your body, your human body. You know something about us? Whenever we find something, we want to deal with something, we always start up here, you know, in the crazy land, I call it, the control tower. And I get the information, and we have a name for that in recovery. We call that intellectual recovery. I know what I've got to do. Remember the I know disease? I know what I got to do. People even tell me about it. And I say, I know. And after a while, we kind of keep it stuck up there. But gravity has a wonderful way of working. Eventually, stuff will come down. You'll actually start to see things after a while and start to actually hear them. It takes time. Then in time, with gravity's help, it comes down to your mouth. And you start to actually talk it. You start to ask questions. You start to search. Then it gets down to your chest. And the chest area is what I call the bargaining area, where I try to figure it out, try to analyze it. It doesn't work because after a period of time, I get tired. I have to let it go. It goes down to my gut. In my gut, I process it. Once I process it, then the stuff that I don't need comes out the back end, and the other stuff goes down to my feet, and then I walk the talk and I live the talk. After process, it's almost like that processing, and your body does it all the time. You're constantly, we take food in and your body kind of tries to get rid of the garbage that's connected to it and keep the good stuff. Life is the exact same way. So when we talk about shame reduction, we use that same philosophy. Have to be able to slowly but surely open up, defrost the iceberg, begin to look at life, begin to feel, but I can't do it alone because I need people to share it with. And if I have real deep traumas going on inside of me, I may also need professional help to help me through this process. But it's got to be done slowly, gradually. It's a process, not an event. And I share this because I really believe very deeply that your feelings, your emotional self is one of the most powerful parts of who we are as people. Your feelings are yours. Remember the old saying? Feelings are neither right nor wrong. They're your feelings, they're how you feel. And all of us here tonight, there's 35, 36 of us here. We literally have 36, 37 different feelings. Wherever we are in the course of our journey in life, we're all at different places. Young, old, really old like me, but basically we all have our feelings and things that are going on. And so we have to be able to somehow, some way, just work our way through them a little bit at a time. Now I understand my father. Father used to say, bien, Wayon. Take your time, go slow, relax, take it easy, do a little bit at a time, be good. When I got into my eating disorder recovery, my sponsor would say to me all the time, slow down, Vince, relax. Let's discover things a little bit at a time. He used to give us 2 fingers. I used to love it. He'd go like this. If you learn that much today, you have made progress. Progress is what's important, not perfection. Perfection is death. Perfection doesn't exist. If you're perfect, you're probably in a cemetery. It's not even perfect either. So it's kind of crazy. But the bottom line is, keep growing. If I can discover one more thing today, pick up something here, be able to share something with somebody else, be able to let go of another piece of who I am as a person, to begin to open these doors up. It's amazing in my own life. When I first really got into serious recovery, began to really work on myself, I had a very difficult time sharing. Now, after years, I'm able to share with a lot of people because I realize the fact, unless I talk about the stuff that's going on inside of me, unless I process what's happening, then basically what's going to happen is I'm going to eat it, I'm going to bury it, and then I'm going to get depressed. I'm going to go down to the pits again, and literally I'm going to run and hide from life. Life is not to be run away from, it's to be lived, to be celebrated. We don't know where we're going to go. Who knows? I look here and I see a lot of young people here, and you're on your journey. I was young once, I really was, honest to God. Amy, Jen, Megan, I was actually young once. It's amazing, isn't it? What can I tell you? I have new things today. When I was young, you guys wear jeans, right? When I was young, I wore dungarees. You don't even know what a dungaree is, do you? It's totally amazing. It's the same as jeans. They only had different names for them back then. Plus, they were kind of floppy all over the place. They were a lot of fun. But see, you can laugh at stuff like that because I'm learning over and over again that, I went through a lot of trauma as a child. I was taught things as a kid. Be quiet. Don't talk. I don't have a voice. I'm glad I got a voice today. My little boy's got a voice today. He can share. I'm able to look at things in life today and see them differently. I'm able to have a connection with other individuals and people. I love the fact that slowly but surely I can learn from every person I meet in the course of my journey in life. It's amazing how we go through this. I even learned stuff from Jerome without a problem at all, but it's totally amazing. But the bottom line is I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm connecting. I'm beginning to experience new things in the course of my journey. Pat's a great teacher. What can I tell you? But it's all part of the process we go through, right, Pat? It's all part of the process we go through in life. But when you do it a little bit at a time and you take your time, you're reducing the shame. Because when it's in your head, it's this big. When you talk about it and you begin to release it, it's like the air comes out of the balloon. It's not as big anymore. Do you ever notice something? When something's really bothering you and you go over it and over it and over it, and you lose sleep at night over it, and as you go over it, it gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger. Then when you finally deal with it, people look at you like you're crazy, like you're nuts. It's not that big. But the thing is, for us, it is. And so as I reduce the shame and get it down, then I begin the real process of healing. And yet what you're doing is you have to be able to accept that shame, to embrace it, to learn from it. That doesn't happen magically. If someone has abused you, if someone has done something powerful to you, if you're going through a trauma, how are you going to come to acceptance of that? That's why this process takes time. I have to come to an acceptance of it when I'm ready. And a little bit at a time. The acceptance doesn't mean that I'm condoning it. I have to accept the fact that it happened and come to that point where I can actually then begin to embrace it, learn from it, grow from it, and move forward. And that's the hard part of this process of recovery and doing shame healing. And that's one of the reasons why I love the philosophy of the 12 steps. You know, when I do the healing process in the final part of the series, we'll talk a lot about the 12 steps and the connection, how they are a process for grieving, a process for healing, a process from rediscovering new things in the course of your journey. I have so much gratitude today for those steps because they've helped me to come to a much clearer understanding of who I am as a person. They've helped me to heal a lot of things I went through in the course of my journey and learn forgiveness and healing. But see, none of this is going to happen magically. You know, in fact, I'm probably never going to be done. I'll discover something new. I'll experience it. You know, we begin to realize the fact that we're just people on a journey, people learning, people going through our struggle, going through our pain, going through situations that occur. And shame is part of life. We're going to experience it. Sometimes it'll come from others. Sometimes it comes from us. Sometimes it comes from places we don't even expect it to come from. Sometimes we end up saying things or doing things we don't realize we're doing it. We may inflict shame, not even know we're doing it. But the bottom line is shame floats out there in this world. And shame has a lot of faces, like we talked about. Guilt, depression, anxiety, fear, control. All these things are part of it. And how are we able to heal this? By learning how to love ourselves, learning how to build a trust for ourselves. You know, the old timers in AA said this so many times. They used to take the second step of the program and they would actually, in that second step, retranslate it. They would do it this way. Come to believe that slowly but surely, you have the power to become more honest. Notice they didn't say you become totally honest, more honest. Slowly but surely, you have the power to develop a sense of humility, to be open to new things, to learn, to process through things. Come to believe you have the power to become human, to have a sense of humor, to celebrate the things in your life, and above all, to have the power to heal. It'll bring sanity and common sense back into your life. Believe it or not, we'll be able to talk more about this, but I believe that the things that have happened to all of us in life, no matter what they are, if we can come to that acceptance and come to that peace with it, then it actually becomes a teacher, becomes a battle scar that we have. We all got battle scars. Congratulations. I call them scars of honor because I've worked through them. I've worked on them. I've helped to heal them. I can look at them now and realize the lessons and things I've learned from them, the growing I've done in different directions. You know, it doesn't make any difference. Take your time. You know, go slow. Don't push it. Okay. Do the best you can for today. Like the old saying says, you got up this morning, right? Congratulations. You're on this side of the dirt. Congratulations. You're on a journey. You try to do it one day at a time. I got the biggest kick last night at the program because the little trio that did the music beforehand, they're all good friends of mine from the program, and they call themselves the ODAT group, ODAAT, one day at a time group. They're pretty amazing. They did the beautiful job with the music they played. But it's almost like your talents, your gifts, the things you can do. I know those three guys, and I know how talented they are and how they share their talents, how they give to others and share with others through their gifts and through their talents. And that's what we are. We're people that have to be able to go through this healing process to reduce the shame and begin to look at things in a powerful, positive way, and to realize how special and how beautiful each one of us is, and to see the beauty inside of ourselves as a person. We all are on this beautiful journey. It's a journey of life. Age does not make a difference, by the way. It doesn't. Realize the fact that you're going to be open to this process, and hopefully earlier the better, as far as I'm concerned. I have a lot of gratitude to them. I look at young people in the program because you realize the fact, well, thank God, they're starting this process of growing and learning earlier. And, I don't know where tomorrow's going to go. I have no idea at all. None of us do. We have today. Yesterday is over. Whatever happened, happened. Somehow we got to be able to face it, embrace it, learn from it, and grow from it. Because even from all those negative things that happen in our life, I call it all the crap that we experience in life. Somehow, if I can process it instead of running away from it, then all of a sudden, it becomes my fertilizer for recovery. It's amazing, isn't it? Isn't it amazing how they take compost, they take all this stuff we used to refer to as garbage, and they actually process it and turn it into fertilizer for things to grow? Isn't that how life is supposed to be? We learned that on a spiritual level. We learned that if I do my work, if I truly do work on myself as a person, if I go on this adventure of growth, then I'll be able to build something beautiful from it. Because every person I've met in all my years of recovery, we're all gifted, talented individuals in all different ways and directions. We have so much to share and give to others. We have to, first of all, give to ourselves and be able to really begin that process of growing spiritually within. So then we have something to share with others. I call it the oozing principle. You know what oozing is all about. If I truly work on myself, then this energy from me will ooze out to others. It'll happen naturally without you being in charge of it. Just be open to the process of life. And it's an adventure. I know we have a lot of pain on this adventure, a lot of struggle, a lot of things we have to work through. But if we can actually take the time, a little bit of the time to work through them, to connect with people we feel safe and feel comfortable with, then slowly but surely, we start the healing process, the growing process, the discover process. And it's ongoing. That's what it's really all about. And so I guess what I'm saying is, I have a lot of gratitude for the people that are in this room tonight. I have a lot of gratitude for the fact that you're willing to grow and learn. And gratitude for all the people I've met in recovery. And, last night I met so many beautiful people. I mean, I hugged so many people last night. I think I was running out of hugs. I don't know what was going on. But I got to hug close to 300 people then last night. It was totally amazing, to be able to be around so many people that are part of your connection, things you've experienced over the course of your journey. There's something very powerful, very spiritual, and very overwhelming about that. But to realize the fact that every one of us has had those same experiences. We're going through that process in our life. And we never know where it's going to take us. That's the adventure. So many of us have fear of the unknown. We're trying to figure our life out. Why do you want to figure your life out? Live it to the best of your ability today. And everything else will find its way in God's time, not in our time. Just to be open to the process. Believe me, it works. I never believed I'd be doing what I'm doing today or doing the things I'm doing today. I don't even know how I got here half the time, but I'm here. What can I tell you? What can I tell you, Jen? I'm still here, right? So it's all part of it. But it's the part of the process you go on in life. Got to keep it simple, enjoy it, celebrate it. Just take who you are today, and what any hurt you're going through today, try to accept your hurt. Try to share your hurt with somebody you trust. And I know I need people around me that will listen to my feelings and just listen. I've learned something. When people share things with you, learn just to say, thanks for sharing. I'm grateful you're sharing. That's enough. Because sometimes I just want to be able to get stuff out. It's how healing takes place. I don't need advice or tell me what to do or where to go. If I want advice, I'll ask for it. If I want to share my feelings, I want to share my feelings. That's important. So get those 2 or 3 people around you feel safe and comfortable with, that you can blow your steam off with, you can get upset with, you can go through changes with, and they listen. I really believe listening is one of the greatest therapeutic tools on the face of this earth, just to listen. And as a result, everything else falls into place. That's what it's really all about. And so what I want to do in the last session, I want to really work on the healing process of shame. We'll take you through the steps, connecting them to elements of shame. We'll take you through the healing process, realizing that I might be able to talk about this in a 45-minute lecture, but living it and doing it and processing it only takes about, until about 10 years after you're dead, that's all. And then you have it all together, okay? Not a problem at all. See how simple it is? It's not bad. Right, Carly? It's not bad at all. So, what we got to do? You have to learn also just to accept life on life's terms and go with the flow. Stay in the flow. Everything else will find its way, but it'll happen when it's supposed to. Gabish, you got that? All right? So keep it that simple. I love the old Italians. I used to love them. The South Philly Clubhouse, they used to say, hey, did you wake up this morning? What's your problem? Do the best you can today, and then go to sleep. But say thank you before you go to sleep. I used to love those guys. Discover something new today. Experience something else. Be able to release one more of those little secrets. Remember those secrets. They're dangerous. Because when you bury it in here, it's going to kill you. That's the most dangerous thing in the world. But when you're able to share and connect them out, then you grow. Do we have hurt and pain? I don't know if you're going to like me saying this. I hope we do. Because growth comes from struggle. We have to go through our hurt. It's how we grow and how we learn. Okay, so I hope this helps you tonight to understand the process of reducing things a little bit at a time to get to a manageable level. So as they say in Italian, take your time, go slow, relax. Gabish, and go in that direction. See how simple it is? Hey, okay. I want to offer a prayer tonight to help us in this. I'm going to ask you just to pray with me to the God of your understanding, whatever works for you. Let's pray. God, we come before you as a family. We come before you in prayer. We ask for the gift of gratitude, the gift of love. We come together as people searching deep down inside to be able to grow, to learn, to experience everything in life. Help us to be open. Help us to learn. But remember, we need your help. We need your guidance. We need your direction. Bring people into our life that we'll be able to share things with and feel comfortable with. Help us through these messengers and people that you send to grow closer to you. We thank you for all those who have gone before us. All those who are on the walls of Starting Point, our memorial walls. All those who are on the walls of our hearts. We thank you, Lord, for they have left us physically, but they're with us spiritually. They're just saying to us, pass it on. as we will say to others. And that's all we can do. Pass the love, pass the energy, pass our experiences on with one another. And that'll bring us more strength as we grow in life. So God, we ask for this strength. We ask for this direction as we come together before you. We ask this in your name. Amen. And now if you unmute yourself, we're going to make it.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God's will, not mine, be done.